Hello, everybody. I think I found a pretty cool puzzle today. This is the kind we like, many of us, not so many pieces, but very, very hard to find variations and moves. So we have a pawn here on e2. It's going to go all the way to e8 and promote. That's our only chance to win. Problem is, if it moves now, it will be taken. Another problem, the black king is far closer to it than our king. And the third, well, we have a bishop to protect it, but it's not in the same square as the pawn. This is a dark squared bishop, and the pawn is on a light square. But we can save this pawn and make it promote. But of course, as always, there's only one set of moves that will lead to a victory for white. So pause the video now and see if you can analyze this on your own and find the variation for white to win. Go ahead. Okay, welcome back. So let's start with the obvious. If we start approaching with our king, we will lose the race. Black will come with his king to f4, threaten e3, and then take the pawn. Our king is, of course, too far away, cannot stop it now. And if we try to now save the situation by sacking our bishop, well, he can simply take it. This is just not going to do it for white. Black will simply let us take this, and this king is secure here. It will stop the pawn, and he's got one of his own. So this is a draw. Okay, so we cannot use our king, obviously, and of course we cannot move our pawn. Not even two moves. There's something called en passant, and we will lose the pawn, and this is actually not very good. We might save the game, but we want to win it. So, okay. So, then we're down to actually, I would say, only two moves. The correct one and the not correct one, which looks pretty good, but it's not winning. So let's start with the not correct one. It's to take this pawn. We get one pawn out of the way, and we have our bishop now able to move all over the board, but it's not good enough because black will play this brilliant defense king f5, threatening to come to e4 and then e3 and then take the pawn. And again, our king is too far away. If we start running with our king, well, we cannot allow this to happen. You see it right away. We cannot really stop it. And again, sacrificing a bishop doesn't give us anything. Gonna be like this, takes the pawn, and it's a draw. Okay, so leave the king alone. Can we do something else? Well, I already told you this is the wrong idea, but we have to explore all options, of course, and you need to see why it's not good enough. So black is threatening to come down here, and if we try something like perhaps bishop back to e8, allowing him to come here and then block it with bishop g5. Well, look at this pawn. Black will simply play d3. In order for us to save our pawn, we need to pass it, and then we secure our pawn, but we have another problem, of course. Black will promote, and we will lose this game, so this is not good at all. And after king f5, this looks interesting. It's better defense move than bishop e8. The plan is to come down. If now black plays king e4, then we are winning with bishop d2. This pawn doesn't scare us, and we will protect this one. We will get our king in, and we will win. But after bishop a5, we move it away a little bit from the action, and the king will play king f4 instead of e4. Threatening the same thing, but getting him closer to run around. We must play bishop d2 here, check to prevent this, and then he will simply come to g3. And then he's threatening king f2 and attack the pawn from the side. If we stop that, he just continued down to g2. and the next move he will come to f1, and this pawn is lost. So that's that. Perhaps there are more variations, side variations to explore, but bishop takes c7 is not right. So what is the correct starting move? Well, we want to keep our bishop more involved. So we are starting with bishop f6. The immediate threat is, of course, to take here on d4. And if we take there, well, then we can push the pawn and everything is happy days, and we are winning. So something like this. This is pretty easy win for us. We can play e3. We don't have to play e3, but we can do it and then just get our king involved, and we will win this. But of course, black has better defense than to run with his king now. He obviously plays c5 to protect his pawn on d4, still threatening the king to come closer like this, something. And we cannot handle this just with our bishop and pawn alone. We need our king. It's far away, but now we need to take the first step. The bishop cannot really be close, put on a better squares right now because the king is protecting these two. So we get our king closer, and then we just see what black does with his king. Now we are threatening to attack here, so black needs to attack with his king. And as I showed you, he's got these two options. We're going to look at both, but actually they will transform into the same variation. So let's start with king f4. He's threatening king e3 and then attacking here. This is not good enough. Again, it's too slow. It will be a draw. So here, after king f4, can we find the right move for white? As always, there's only one move that wins for white here. Can you find it? Post a video if you need. Okay, here it comes. Now we need to sacrifice our bishop. Bishop g5 check. We have to stop him from coming here. We got our king a bit closer, and if we can get the black king to go away further, if he takes this, then actually we are winning this. We'll grab this one. He cannot stop us from grabbing this next one. And at the same time, we will get the opposition. We are forcing the black king away, and we know that this is winning for white. We can get the pawn here. This is simple pawn endgame theory, and this is a win. And it doesn't help, of course, for black to sacrifice his pawn. We will simply take it. We are still in opposition like this. The king cannot come closer. We will protect our pawn all the way. But it's not over there. I didn't say black has to take the bishop. He can try some smarter moves. Okay, we stopped him from coming closer by playing king e3. Instead, it goes to g3, and he will try to attack it here from the side. The bishop cannot come here to stop it. It will be taken. And again, it's too slow for us to start moving our king. Cannot allow this. The pawn will fall. So we have to find something else. And what is that? Well, you saw the first bishop sacrifice. Of course, there's another one. And if we back down here, I told you in this position that black has two options. Either go there, attacking. He went here, and we looked at this like this. And it will be the same if it goes here straight away. Again, we need to sacrifice the bishop. And we don't have to look at what if it takes. We saw that. We will take both pawns, and we are much closer to with our king, and we will get the opposition. So here, black can try to go back. We cannot go back and forth. That will be a repetition and a draw. But if we do that, we get our bishop to f2, and look at this. The king is fenced off. He cannot come closer. There's no point in sacrificing like this. We get our king closer, and if he does nothing, we will simply take these pawns and win. So instead, he will come to g2 and now threatening king f1. So we're still not done. This is not over yet. Because if now we take this, well, king f1, and again this pawn will fall. We have to find something else. So after king g2, what do we do? Well, the bishop cannot come in a better place. We need to now protect this pawn with the king. It will be able to come here. Like this. And of course, now the king is here. But this is not that easy. Black can start attacking like uh, he is more than willing to sacrifice both his pawn if he can take this one, of course. So after c4, obviously we cannot take any pawns. We will lose our own. So the king has to come to d2. We have to stay here. If it goes with this pawn, well, that's not good enough. Then we run. This one will manage on his own, and the king will manage this one on his own. So that's not good enough. But c3 check will come. Okay. Now it's a question. Of course, we're checking. We need to keep on protecting our own pawn. Do we go with the king to d3 or to d1? One is winning and one is only a draw. And again, for the last time, if you need to post a video now, go ahead. All right, here we come. This is wrong. King d1 is wrong. Black will more than happy to just continue with his own pawn. Another check, and we cannot take it, of course. But again, if we don't take it, it will promote, and now we're forced into the draw. So after the check on c3, we go to d3. But now finally, our king cannot be touched, our pawn cannot be touched. This king cannot come any closer. He can try with his pawn, but we will simply put our bishop now on g5. This looks secure enough for white. We are stopping the pawn. We are protecting our own pawn. Both pawns are hanging for black. But this security is actually not that secure. We cannot take either of these pawns because then we will lose our own. And if black doesn't move this pawn, we cannot take it with our bishop either. So it looks like a status quo or some sort, but white is still winning this. It's just a matter of a little bit technique. So let me show you. Black will play king e1, trying to get his king to d1 and protect his pawn to promote. And we cannot really stop this, but we don't have to. We play bishop c1. That's the best move here. We can have some different moves. This is the most direct win. If the king comes to d1 now, attacking our bishop, still attacking our pawn and protecting his pawn to promote, well, we have this beautiful move here. Can you see it? Here it comes. Bishop d2. Now black is in zugzwang. He has to promote. But I said we are not scared of the promotion here. Then we can take the pawn. And of course, this pawn cannot be stopped now. So we are not afraid of letting the king come to d1. Instead, he might go away and still attacking the pawn. But that will allow us to get our king more involved. Now it's a secure place for it on d2. He cannot sacrifice his pawn. We will simply take it, and we are blocking the king, the black king, away. He can come to f2. Now is the plan. It's still not easy to win. We want to take this pawn with our bishop, but if we do it right away like this, well, then again he can sacrifice here, take, and it's a draw. So we need to take this pawn with a check. Therefore, in this position, we need to do a tempo move. We go with the bishop to a3 first. King comes back. Then we go to b2. And when the king comes up again, now we can take it with a check. And after that, of course, this is an easy win. If he goes here, we simply run with our pawn and promotes. Or if he goes away, well, we can take this pawn right away, or we can run with a pawn, put it here, it doesn't matter. This is an easy win, of course. So, all right, thank you, everybody. And just let's go back to the starting position. This doesn't look like it's a really hard study, but it was a lot more complex than it looks. And I hope you all stayed with me to the end and really enjoyed this video in its full. Thank you for watching. I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye bye.